Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to get a lot of building done today, so let's not waste any time. See this side of the mountain? It really needs to be connected to the ground down here, so I'd like to spend some time figuring out exactly what this is going to look like. And as you can see, I am totally prepared with all this dirt that I've gathered, so let's roll that intro time lapse. Oh yeah. This time, we're starting off strong by planning out a big section of this custom terrain by framing out this side of the mountain. So I grabbed all my remaining dirt and stone to go as far with as I possibly could, and it lasted me a good 3 hours. And I think the progress speaks for itself. I've been doing some thinking about this flat area on screen right now, and I think I'd like to build a small village up here at some point and really show you guys how I plan my villages. Let me know in the comments if that sounds like a good idea to you. My schedule of things to get done before episode 25 is completely full, so it'll have to be after the world tour, but I think it could look really cool on top of the hill here. As I've mentioned before, I'd like to get this whole side of the mountain range facing spawn finished by the world tour for episode 25, which means a lot of block placing between now and then. So I'm going to have to collect chests upon chests of dirt and stone for the coming intro time lapses, so I expect we have a mega collection montage on the way for the next episode or something, because I need tons of dirt and stone. We're talking maybe 30 shulker boxes of each minimum. I get carried away easily with these terraforming time lapses and forget to check on my elytra durability, which means it's becoming a regular occurrence on the channel for me to fall out of the sky during these videos. And as funny as it is, I accidentally put my ender chest on top of the hill this time, so I had to walk all the way up. Lucky for me, I started with the pathways, eh? So as I do the super embarrassing walk of shame here up the hill, I just want to say that it would mean a lot to me if you would leave a like on this video. It lets me know that you pressed a button on your screen, and that's pretty cool, I guess. No, but seriously, it helps out the channel a lot, and I gotta say, you guys are very good at leaving likes on my videos. It's usually about a third of all viewers who do, so maybe consider leaving one if you usually don't. But enough of me telling you what to do. This is the part of the time lapse where I really get a lot of the framework in so you guys can get some idea of what the shape will look like for the mountain when it's all said and done. But there's definitely a long way to go from here. So let's jump back into first person mode and check this out. I will see you on the other side. Alright, that is everything I could get done before totally running out of resources, so we're gonna have to go over here to the old quarry later on and definitely mine out some more of this dirt and the stone over here. But I think you get the overall idea. We're gonna have this coming down to here and then slowly slope this down all the way here and connect the paths up into the valley. And I mean, yeah, that might be a lot of work to do by episode 25, but you know what? Here on the Antlerboy channel, we love our huge projects, so that's not going to be a big deal at all. In fact, the obvious reason I want to get this part done before the world download is since you're going to spawn in right here, so I'd like this area to look a little bit nicer than just be a plains with a few puddles littered around. So our order of priority is going to be fixing up this side, then after episode 25, we're going to have to fix up the side that goes on into the ocean over here. And then both the side over here behind the monastery is going to have a lot more mountains, and the side over by the castle here is going to connect down over to the desert there. So we'll leave those for last because, you know, they're going to be a tremendous amount of work compared to the others. So what would I like to do this episode? Well, you guys have already read the title and seen the thumbnail, so it's not going to be much of a mystery. I've told you guys before that I really want to transform this plains right here into some tournament grounds. So I'd like to have a huge jousting arena, and that's what we're going to be tackling this episode, but then I probably want to build a circus, a racetrack around the whole thing, maybe have a giant market with a bunch of tents around. Overall, I think we're going to be able to create something really awesome. But before we get right into that, I'd like to ask you guys an important question. See, I need a lot of quartz and gravel and black stone. Basically, I'm just listing off things you can get from piglin bartering, and I'd really love to make a gold farm and bartering system. So all I wanted to ask before we get going here is, would you guys care about me making about half an episode making that gold farm, maybe having that be the intro? Because ultimately, having more automated resources just means I can build faster and more efficiently. So definitely let me know if you want to see those farms be built. I didn't actually know you could shift in mid-air like this. This is crazy. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below, and I will get to that if you guys want to see it. I think our very first order of business here is going to be chopping down these trees and gathering all the leaves. And listen, I'm no monster. If we're going to be taking away these wolves home, we're going to have to take all these wolves with us. So please be tamed. This guy really doesn't want to be tamed. Okay, come on. How many bones can it take? Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. So I've brought my trusty axe and hoe, so let's get this forest torn down and level the ground around here a little bit so that we can talk about what we're actually going to build today. I'm running out of leaves anyway, so this is perfect for me, and the wood never hurts either since I'm going to be building this build out of wood mostly. I mean, as you can see, I've already stolen some leaves from these trees already. Now that the last of the leaves are decaying, I think I'd like to flatten this area out a bit. I am going to keep a little bit of this natural hill right here, but I think I just want to fill in these water holes and flatten out the area where I'm going to build this episode's build. So let me just spin around, and there we go. I did a lot of work on this over the past few days. I haven't been feeling too well, but I finally think I'm ready to get this started. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done to this area, but for now, I think we've got this huge flat area right here that's going to be perfect for what we're going to build right now. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let's roll the time lapse. Oh yeah. First off, I wasn't planning to get as much done in this single episode as I did, but I ended up getting sick during the making of this episode and spent most of that time building and playing games, so I got a very sizable chunk of this jousting arena in place. I really wanted to wait for my voice to sound normal to narrate this video, but you know what? I want to do it, so sorry if I sound a bit off for this one. But about the build itself, I started off by planning out the dimensions of the build and laying out where the 5 towers are going to be and just making it easy for myself to know what I'm doing. My next order of business was to replace the grass below what I'm building with coarse dirt, which I later went in and textured up with some brown concrete powder. And I plan to texture in even more different blocks and variate it a lot more when I put in a lot of the details later on. So I approached this build in layers, meaning I built this first section for the people to stand in its entirety before moving on to the towers and the tent-style roof I put in later. I think this way of building benefits the time-lapse footage, making it easier to see what I'm doing, but it's also pretty satisfying to build something as if you're stacking pancakes on top of each other. There's also the fact that this build doesn't have too much diagonal stuff going on, which is a nice break for me from designing a lot of complicated builds recently. So here's where I start building the central tower, which is the main structure of the arena and where the highest lord would sit and view the competition. Overall, I had a lot of fun mixing the pinkish jungle plank textures with strip, dark oak, and spruce to achieve the final look of this place. In fact, aside from the brick roofs I build atop each of the towers, I pretty much use wood exclusively, which leads to a really cool look since all the wood blocks mix really well. I even sprinkled in the barrel texture, which really complements spruce perfectly. Just the fact that you have fences and trapdoors makes wood very versatile as a building block, but I don't need to tell you why wood is great in Minecraft. It is the first block you have to punch after all. Here I am building the 4 spires in each of the corners of the arena, and I figured the bottom of these spires is where the competitors would emerge on their horses, and the crowd from their part of the kingdom would be standing on their side of the arena. I think it would be really cool to have banner flags for each part of the kingdom. So far, there's really only the Valley of Ventia to speak of, so there's not a lot of kingdoms to give flags. But in the coming episodes, we're going to be remedying that. I mean, it might have to be the next 100 episodes or so, but still. There are a lot of big plans that I'm super excited about for the future of this world. But getting back to what I'm building, this is my favorite part of the whole build, where I put in the tent-like roof for the viewing platform, and I think it just turned out really sweet looking. And afterwards, I put in some of the finishing decorations and made a fun little cinematic to go with the whole build, so you enjoy that, and I will see you on the other side. right, we are back. I hope you guys enjoyed that little cinematic, but here she is. I think that looks awesome down there. Obviously, it's not quite finished yet. We're gonna have some stuff up here in front as well, but I think this looks really fantastic for now. Just imagine what this place is gonna look like when we have a lot more detail in here and just all the little tents with the different stuff. It's gonna look really cool. Another thing I'd like to bring to your attention is the fact that I changed the way this pathway goes down. It actually comes down this way now and curls all the way around like this and back over here. The reason I did this and didn't keep it going down all the way right to the portal right there is because I want a little bit of a steeper slope going down here so that this mountain can come down from there all the way to over here, so it isn't as steep. Less steepness is what I want and what I meant, and I think that is going to look a lot better as soon as we gather the materials to be able to get this. But let's take a look over here. So as you get closer here, you can see all the flags I put in, and for now I just put in Ventia's flag, but I think we should have different flags for these sides depending on who is competing in the tournament here. So over the next few episodes, we're going to be putting in a lot of trees over here, and this entire area that's in here is going to get decorated as well. I think we're going to want maybe someone who can fix horseshoes in here, so some kind of smith. And then we're going to want a few staircases leading up to the second platform here where you'd be viewing the tournament. Another thing I didn't show is the backside here, which I actually built. So this backside has the doors right here to get in. So we're just going to have to extend this terrain right here and terraform the whole beach. So that's a work in progress still, kind of like everything else. But it does have this cool little balcony right here, again with the Ventia colors. I really like splashing that around everywhere now. But yeah, I think it looks really cool from this angle as well. Overall, massive success, unlike that flight. Ow, that hurt my face. And hey, as soon as we've actually finished this section of the mountain, the view from over here is going to be pretty spectacular. Now, we've got another problem. The first problem is going to be whether or not I can actually do this, and we did. Okay, yeah. My poor forehead, man. If only I were a better flyer. But no, the problem I had in mind was the fact that we're actually outgrowing our map again. So while we expanded it last time to be able to house the monastery over here, we actually need to have a second row down here. Perhaps even two more. So this is it. We need a proper map room. So I'm going to move this somewhere, probably to the spawn tent where you actually spawn in so that you have a map of the entire area. That way, I think it would make sense. We could put some banners down and actually show off where the different lodestone compasses lead. So to the church, for example. I think that would make a lot of sense. While I'm here and looking at this, it reminded me about the fact that we're going to do the castle tour pretty soon, so the interior of the castle. And I've actually only built this part of the interior, which is pretty big itself, but I need to do the other half over here, so that'll be embedded in the same episode. So expect to see that really, really soon. I feel like we've made a ton of progress today, and you guys finally understand what my vision for this place is going to be. But I am feeling a little bit under the weather, and I don't have the big no-no, so you don't have to worry about me. I'm definitely getting better right now. But at this point, I really need to rest up and get better. So I'd love to start off the next video by finishing a lot more of the terraforming around here. So look out for that one in the next few days. And as always, if you've watched this video all the way to the end, then you're the champ, and I appreciate your existence. So until we see each other next time, have a good one.